red and blue in the mirror, then the torch at your window. Have you been drinking tonight? And before you answer, the little grey device held out on a palm. Blow into this. It's the word no. Refuse to blow, and you're punished as hard as the worst drink driver on the road. It's the word no. Refuse to blow, and you're punished as hard as the worst drink driver on the road. In New South Wales, that's a 3-year disqualification, up to 18 months prison, and your licence gone before you've left the curb. But here's the other half nobody tells you. You must blow, and you need not say a single word about your night. 2 duties, and they feel like one. By the end of this, you'll have one sentence that protects you. One sentence that gives them the breath the law demands and keeps the story it doesn't. The torch holds steady on your lap, then your hands. 10 and 2. The device sits on the officer's open palm, waiting. And here's the thing to understand before you say anything. There are 2 completely separate things happening at this window, and the law treats them as opposites. One you must do, one you needn't. The breath test is compulsory, non-negotiable. Refusing it is a serious crime with your license attached to it. The questions around it, you can decline. How many have you had? Where were you drinking? When was your last one? Those you can decline. Declining them isn't refusing anything at all. But watch how he runs them together, easy and friendly, so that going quiet on the questions feels exactly like going quiet on the device. That blur is the whole trick, because one answer becomes a timeline. A timeline becomes a calculation, and the calculation becomes the case against you, built, word by word, in your own voice. One sentence separates the breath from the story. I'll hand it to you before the end. And a warning I'll come back to twice. I'll hand it to you before the end. And a warning I'll come back to twice. There is one thing in this video you must never do. But first, the reading you're afraid of isn't the one that convicts you. Quick word before the device. No invented career on this channel, just plain English Australian law. Check line by line against the statutes. Every section from tonight in the description. Random breath tests exist because drink driving kills people, and most stops are exactly what they look like. That's precisely why the rules are worth knowing cold, so you can tell the routine from the trap. Now the structure almost nobody learns. There are 2 tests, not one. The handheld unit is preliminary, indicative only. It convicts nobody. It's a screen, not a verdict. If it goes positive, you're taken in. For the second one, the evidentiary breath analysis, the accurate instrument, the one a court actually believes. In New South Wales, that analysis has to happen within 2 hours of driving. And it can't be done at your home. And it can't be done at your home. That's Schedule 3 of the Road Transport Act. So knowing which device is which tells you exactly when the real stakes arrive. Refusing either is an offence. Refusing either is an offence, but only one of them carries the catastrophe. And that catastrophe has a number on it, the same number as the worst reading on the road. So here's everything you're compelled to do. You must blow, both stages, roadside and analysis. Refuse the roadside test in New South Wales, and it's a fine of up to around $1,100. Refuse the analysis of the serious one, and Clause 16 of Schedule 3 punishes you exactly like high-range drink driving. Up to 30 penalty units, as much as 18 months, and an automatic 3-year disqualification. Victoria is harsher still. Refusing carries a mandatory minimum 2-year disqualification on a first offence. Queensland runs it through Section 80 of its Road Use Act, with penalties matching a high reading. Hear the hard line early? There is no clever phrase, no I don't consent, no sovereign citizen script. That turns refusing the device into anything but the most expensive word you'll say all year. One number for the scale of the machine. In 2024, Australian police ran 10.3 million random breath tests, and just 0.6% came back positive. It is an enormous net, and it is watching. It's watching for the one move that hurts you most: refusal. So where's the danger? It's in the friendly question that comes first. How many have you had tonight? It sounds like small talk. It sounds like concern. It's neither. It's the first line of a timeline, and you're the one being asked to write it. The second you name a number and a time, you've handed a forensic toxicologist the anchor for a back calculation. Run backwards to estimate what your blood alcohol was at the wheel. The wrong response is the honest sounding one. The driver who says only a couple hours ago and builds the prosecution's clock with his own mouth. The counter costs you nothing. You are not required to answer how much or when or where. Blow into the device. That's the law. Narrate your evening. That's a choice. And it only ever helped the other side. The timeline you decline to give is the timeline they can't use. But there's a reason silence feels like guilt. Sitting in that light. There's a trap folded inside the answer, and nearly everyone carries it ready. Yay, I've only had two. It feels like a shield. It's the opposite. 2 beers isn't an alibi. It's a data point. Once it's on the camera, it becomes the fixed timeline your whole case gets measured against. If the analysis comes back higher than 2 drinks could explain, you haven't defended yourself. You've just proven to a court that you won't tell the truth, and your credibility is gone. Worse, the honest sounding admission quietly destroys the one defense you might genuinely have had. That the reading itself was wrong. The moment you've told them you're drinking, you've conceded it. Say nothing about the drinking, and the reading has to stand or fall entirely on its own. Decline to answer, and watch the reframe arrive. Not being very cooperative, are we? It lands like an accusation. Here's the law they hope you don't know. In New South Wales, Section 89 says no court can hold your silence against you. And that protection covers declining one question while answering another. What the law calls selective silence. You can give your name, you can blow into the device, and you can still say nothing about your night. There is a narrow exception, Section 89A, where silence can count, but only for serious indictable offences, only after a special caution, and only with a lawyer physically present. A roadside drink drive matter is none of those. So the uncooperative line is a bluff with no legal weight behind it, as long as you are complying, fully and visibly, with the test itself. You cooperate completely with the machine and quietly with nothing else. And if you've been watching the American videos, unlearn this one fast. Over there, implied consent means you can often refuse. And thanks to a case called Birchfield, refusing a warrantless blood test can't even be made a crime. So unlearn that fast. In Australia, refusing the breath test is a serious crime. Same penalties as high-range drink driving. All of it. Whether you'd had anything to drink or not. Refusing the device is how you lose everything at once. In the US, you can sometimes refuse and keep your freedom. In Australia, you're finished. Get those two backwards and it's over. So here's the sentence that keeps them straight. The breath given, the story kept. 3 things at once. It has to hand over the breath completely, decline the history clearly, and land in a tone that isn't obstruction. Because hindering is its own separate offence. Section 546C in New South Wales, up to 12 months. The wrong response is the driver who lectures the officer while refusing to blow. and commits the one offence that mattered. The counter is the exact opposite: total, easy compliance with the device and a soft close on everything else. Be the simplest test. The device is on his open palm. You reach for it, and before you blow, you say it. Officer, I'll do the test. I'd rather not answer questions about my night 8. Again, slower, because the second pass is the one that stays. Officer, I'll do the test. I'd rather not answer questions about my night 8. Save this screen. Say it once tonight, out loud, so on the night it matters, it arrives as memory and not invention. In officer, I'll do the test. The compelled half, paid in full. The breath the law demands, no refusal offence possible. I'd rather not answer questions about my night. The voluntary half, declined. Section 89 keeps that silence off the record for good. And the warning welded right here. This sentence is never, never a reason not to blow. You say the words, and then you give the breath. Declining the questions is lawful and safe. Declining the device is the catastrophe this entire video exists to stop. Delivery is half of it. Push one is the guilt lever. If you've only had a couple, why not just tell me? You don't reach for it. You blow and you say it again. Same warmth, no heat. Officer, I'll do the test. I'd rather not answer questions about my night. Same line, same tone. Push two is the pressure lever. Being difficult only makes this harder on yourself, mate. It doesn't. And the sentence doesn't bargain. Same line, same tone. That's your third hearing, which means it's muscle now, not memory. That was always the design. Now watch one clean run, start to finish. Illustration, not a case. Torch, device, the easy voice. Been drinking tonight? An officer? I'll do the test. I'd rather not get into my night. He holds out the unit. You blow. The screen settles. How many have you had? Oh, I'd rather not answer that. Happy to keep doing the test. A pause, the kind that happens when there's nothing to write down. Reading's clear. On your way. Window up, road, read it correctly. Nothing in that was refusal. A driver gave the machine everything and the timeline nothing. But there's a fork past this point, and one arm of it is the night the reading isn't clear. If the reading comes back over, you still blow. Every single time, because refusing is the worst move left. The fight moves to a courtroom, not the curb. That's where it's worth having. And if they hand you an immediate suspension notice, Section 224 in New South Wales, you don't argue it roadside either. You take it. Then you appeal it at the local court within 28 days on the narrow exceptional circumstances test under Section 268. Victoria and Queensland run their own machinery. Part 6B, Section 79E, so check the rules where you actually drive. The all states line plainly. South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania, the Northern Territory and the ACT each run their own refusal offences and disqualification minimums. Know your numbers. 2 drivers never to become. The refuser, who says no to the device and loses everything the same night. And the narrator, who blows perfectly clean and then talks himself into a case that was never there. One breath now, the license still yours. Every one of these I've gathered into a book called Know Your Rights. Link in the description, waiting for the night the torch is at your window. So one breath, you always blow. Refusing is the catastrophe. The same penalty as the worst reading. You never narrate your night. And the sentence, unchanged. Officer, I'll do the test. I'd rather not answer questions about my night. Refusing cost you 3 years, gone the same night. This is general information, not legal advice. Past a reading, the video ends and a lawyer begins. Legal aid exists in every state. Subscribe, not for luck, for the next stop. So the next torch meets a driver who already knows which half to give and which to keep. And take the ending. The device lowered, the reading clear, the torch clicking off, your license still in your wallet where it belongs, and one lane over, another window sliding down.